Johnny Murray here, and welcome back to a brand new tier list. Today, we're going to be doing a tier list on every Pokemon generation. Now, to be specific, this is just the gens, so we're not doing every single game. So, black and white, and then black and white 2, and so forth and so forth. We're not doing, Emerald, Platinum, or we're not doing Heart Gold, Soul Silver. We're just doing gens. Now I have them as, Gen 1, and I just picked a game to represent the gen. So in this case, Gen 1 is Pokemon Yellow. In Gen 2 is Pokemon Silver. Gen 3, Pokemon Emerald. Gen 4, Pokemon Pearl. Gen 5, Pokemon Black. Gen 6, Pokemon X, Gen 7, Pokemon Sun, Gen 8, Pokemon Sword, and Gen 9, Pokemon Violet. So those are the ones we're going to be ranking. Now, you guys will definitely see the other games, but we're not going to be putting them on here. It's just the best tier list I could find for it. So we're going to be working with what we got, but our tiers are goated, great, good, okay, and bad. Pretty self-explanatory, but we're going to get straight into it. If you guys love video games, this is the place to be. We talk about it daily on this channel, and we love it. Doesn't matter what you love, Xbox, or in this case, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, third-party, PC, VR, indie, whatever it may be. Consider subscribing, share with your friends. I appreciate all the support you guys give me, especially the support in this video right here. But without further ado, man, I'm excited to talk about this. I am very excited for Pokemon Legends Z through A. I'll be honest. I'm really, really excited for that. I've just been in a big Pokemon mood as of recently. I'm honestly thinking about playing through Violet on the Switch 2 again, or not again, but on the Switch 2 for the first time. I've played it on the Switch 1, but yeah, there's just a lot going on. I'm thinking about playing Pokemon Snap again as well, so there's a lot going on. But without further ado, man, let's just go. Let's just get straight into it. Starting off with Gen 1. Can it go anywhere else? That's the question. It's goated. It's goated. I mean, has there been a better Pokemon generation? To me, yes. Yes, there has. We're going to get to that later. But I think definitively, unanimously, Gen 1 is the GOAT. I don't think Pokemon has ever peaked over that, to be honest with you. I think games have gotten better. I think, certain things have gotten better, but in terms of a generation of Pokemon, you're getting the original 151. You're getting the classic 3 starters. You're getting the Kanto region. You're getting Fire Red, Leaf Green. You're getting Pokemon Yellow, of course. You're just getting so many great things. And then, honestly, you could even take in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, those Gen 1 remakes. Gen 1 is just super duper special. Yeah, it's just the go. I don't feel like there's much explanation needed with that. So yeah, automatically going goated. Pokemon Silver. I think this could easily be goated. I think this again could easily be goated. I think for my sake, I'm going to put it great. I have never been the biggest Gen 2 fan as a whole. However, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are definitely one of my favorite games, though, for sure. But when I think of all the Pokemon in the gen, when I think of the region, when I think of everything that's transpired around it, is it my favorite gen? No. But I think it is really high up there. Like, I would say it's probably, I mean, to most people, it might even be the best. Like, there are some people who would say it is the best one. And I wouldn't, arguing against that would be very, very hard, I love the 3 starters we get with Totodile, Chikorita, and Cyndaquil. And so I think it's a very good, gen. I think it's a great gen, actually. So I'm going to put it great. I've never been the biggest Gen 2 fan, but I absolutely love it. Emerald, I'm also going great. I mean, you get Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. You're getting, of course, just Emerald, Sapphire, Ruby. You're getting a lot of great things with it. I like the Pokemon selection in Gen 3 more than Gen 2 personally. And the the starters. I love the starters in Gen 3, Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. I love all three of those. Um, I love the legendaries you're getting with Gen 3. I think Gen 3 is really, really great. I think Gen 3 is more exciting to me than Gen 2. I think there are some better qualities like characters in Gen 2. And I do think there are more like games surrounding Gen 2. But for me, I think both are just great. I would put both on a fairly similar playing field. Um, Now we're moving on to Gen 4. Gen 4 is going goated. Now this is my favorite gen of Pokemon. I've always been a Gen 4 guy. Gen 4 was the first actual Pokemon game I played. My first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Snap. Actually, that's the first game I ever played, period, not even just Pokemon. I have a huge attachment to that. But Gen 4 is the first time I actually played a true Pokemon game. And I just fell in love with it. Turtwig is one of my favorite Pokemon, probably my second favorite Pokemon. I love the legendaries. I love the world. This was the first time I watched like the TV show was for Gen 4. This was during the Wii. You had PokePark, which was Gen 4 related. You had Pokemon Battle Revolution. Man, there was just so much to do with Gen 4. I would argue Gen 4 is the best in terms of. Honestly, I would say Gen 4 really is the gen that turned Pokemon into a mass multimedia franchise, right? Like, you got tons of great movies in Gen 4, shows, tons of awesome spin-offs. Like, I feel like spin-offs really went full force when Gen 4 started. I think Gen 4 is incredible. I really, really love Gen 4 so much. It's really unfortunate that the remakes weren't like the greatest thing of all time. I really enjoyed it personally just because I love Gen 4. But I think Gen 4 just has so much to offer, and for me holds a really, really special place in my heart. But genuinely, though, I would say the first four Pokemon gens are like great. Like I do think after Gen 4, I think is when it started going like truly downhill. Like, yeah, you could say 2 is a little bit worse than 1, and then 3 is a little bit worse than 2, and then 4 is a little bit worse than 4. You can make that argument, but like I think when we're talking substantial, like, okay, it's not as good as the last one. You know what I mean? I think that's where it cut off. I think 4 was truly the last time we were like, wow, Pokemon is still just one of the best. But that being said, Pokemon Black and White, Black and White 2, Gen 5. I think in terms of story, I think Black and White is very good. I really like the TV show. I like the Pokemon selection. I'm going to go. I'm going to go good. I'm going to go good, go Black. I think you could easily make the argument great. There might be some people who put it goated. I think 5 is nowhere close to bad or okay, like some people make it out to be. I think the story and characters really help drive it. PokePark 2 was based off of Black and White as well, which I really love that game as well. Mystery Dungeon had a lot of Black and White games. Black and White was definitely also another huge multimedia gen. I feel like 4 and 5 really captured the multimedia essence of what Pokemon was. You started getting Netflix movies, Pokemon cards were going crazy. Black and White truly was when Pokemon cards were insane during the Black and White gen. But yeah, I think overall, when I look at the gen, it's not the most exciting one to me. But there is still a lot of quality there. So I'm going to go good. Pokemon X and Y, Gen 6 pretty much. I am going great on this one. I know this is a crazy a crazy statement. Cuz for a lot of people, this is where Pokemon completely like just fell off. And not that like X and Y like they thought was bad or anything. They just stopped caring for Pokemon. Then we get to some later gens and then we were like, okay, we've lost the plot. But I think X and Y is fantastic. I think they are great games. And I think part of what makes me love X and Y so much is Megas. Megas in Pokemon is just a match made in heaven. It is the best gimmick Pokemon has ever had when it comes to a gen and like a special power up outside of just your simple stage 1 and 2 evolutions. And I'm so glad it's coming back. And that's the reason I am so excited for Legends Z through A is we're going back to Gen 6. We're going back to Kalos region, which is a really fun region. So I just really love Gen 6. Like, I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed Gen 6. I think one downside is I don't feel like there are a lot of games or things surrounding Gen 6 outside of just your main games that I find very memorable or exciting. And you will definitely see that with a lot of games here upcoming. But also Pokemon cards, I was huge into Pokemon cards during the Gen 5 and Gen 6 era. Those were my biggest like Pokemon card days, especially when we had those mega cards. So really love Gen X and Y, or Gen 6, for just a lot of different reasons. So for me, it's going great. Pokemon Sun and Moon, otherwise known as Gen 7. You also have Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. It is raining so heavy outside, so if you guys hear that, I apologize. This one's going okay. Sun and Moon, I think, is boring, to be honest. I think the starters in this one is, if I remember correctly, hang on, wait a minute. Yeah, this is Litten, Popplio, and Rowlet? Is that right? I think that's right. I think I'm right. You know, is there anything deliberately bad about Sun and Moon? No. I just think they didn't. Number one, they got rid of Megas, which was the wrong call, and they replaced it with like what, Z power or something like that. Yeah. No, thank you. The story was very rehash. This is right around the time everyone started to realize, okay, Pokemon just keeps on repeating themselves in a way, and it kind of keeps getting worse and worse. In a way, the Pokemon keep getting less and less creative. And yeah, I just think Sun and Moon is a product of just doing it to do it. I don't feel like they really had any true motivation behind Sun and Moon. It kind of just felt like they had to make the next gen, and that's what they decided to do. And I feel like it feels. But at the same time, there is some good qualities to it, because it's not like the Pokemon games just completely became dumpster fires. They just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So for me, there is still some enjoyment in it, because at the end of the day, it's still a Pokemon game, and there is still some enjoyment to it. But for me, I just didn't really like Sun and Moon all that much. I enjoyed things outside of Sun and Moon more, like the Pokemon cards. I really enjoyed that. Honestly, that might be it. You know what? The more I think about it, I think I'm going to put Sun and Moon, or I think I'm putting Gen 7 in bad. To me, I would say this is probably the worst gen. I would say that this is the worst gen. And I know y'all are probably going crazy right now, because what I just said means that I don't think Sword and Shield, in other words, Gen 8 is the worst. And that's right, I don't. Because when I look at the Pokemon, the actual Pokemon, the generation, I actually think Sword and Shield has a little bit more and to offer, and I personally enjoy more in Gen 8 than I do Gen 7. When we're looking at Sword and Shield as a video game compared to Sun and Moon, yes, I think Sun and Moon are better. But we're not ranking the games here. We're ranking the generations. I think Gen 8 is a little bit of a better generation than Sun and Moon. Again, it's a crazy statement, but I truly do believe that. And, you know, I might as well just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Gen 9, I think is good. Again, Violet and Scarlet as video games, I actually still think are good, maybe even great games. Unfortunately, they were completely dragged down by performance and other issues that kind of hindered it. But I think when you actually look at the story, when you look at characters, when you look at the selection of Pokemon, the gameplay, the things that surround it, there's a lot of good things there. Again, I just think there is that stigma of Pokemon just rehashing things, or there's a little bit of lack of creativity or passion behind it, and that's where you kind of get the Sun and Moon and the Sword and Shield and then the Scarlet and Violet. But I do think, you go from X and Y, then I think they reach their lowest point with Sun and Moon. Then they kind of just repeated themselves with Sword and Shield. I personally like Sword and Shield a little bit more than most people, not by a lot. Again, I think it's okay. And then I think Violet and Scarlet is a step in the right direction. I really do think so. I think Legends Arceus was the big step in the right direction, and they kind of tried to improve that with Scarlet and Violet, and I think it worked to a good degree, but failed in a lot of departments. But I do think Legends E3 has a chance of being really, really great. And I'm really excited to see whatever the next generation is. Gen X, Gen 10, whatever you want to call it. I think there's a lot of potential there, and I'm really, really excited to see what that is. So just to recap, I think the best generations for me is Gen 1 and Gen 4. Then I would say it is, then in great, I think is Gen 2, 3, and 6. In good, I think Gen 5 and 9 are. And then okay, I think is Gen 8. And bad, I think Gen 7. Yeah, that is my grade. I will say for Gen 7, 8, and 9, there is really not a lot of spin-offs there, which is really, really sad. Which is really, really sad because there's a lot of great legendaries, a lot of great things that those games introduced that I feel like you could have done some spin-offs with, but they just didn't, which I get it. That's just with game development. It's hard to make whole games, so I get it. But that's one of my favorite parts about Pokemon is all the spin-offs, so we'll just have to wait and see more. And I can't wait to see what we get for, maybe we get some more Gen 9 spin-offs. Who knows? Probably doubt it. But I really like what they're doing with the Legends game, so we'll see that. But I will be doing a tier list on every Pokemon game, including spin-offs, here soon. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, this was my Pokemon generation tier list. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Let me know, what do you think? What would you put in GOATed? What would you rank where? I'd love to talk about it. I'll see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.